Trying to learn guitar by watching someone else play is like trying to get fit by watching push-up videos. You can see the movement, but your muscles don't. You don't learn skills through observation, you learn them through friction. Real, messy, embarrassing friction. But that's the part we skip, right? Because it feels uncomfortable. We scroll, binge tutorials, take notes, and call that learning. It's not. That's just collecting instructions, not building instincts. You can memorize how to ride a bike, but until your knees scrape the pavement, your brain won't map balance. The secret skill nobody teaches is how to practice wrong on purpose. Sounds weird? It should. Because we've been conditioned to believe learning is a clean process. In reality, it's sweaty, awkward, full of false starts, and that's exactly what makes it fast. Every mistake is a data point. Every failed attempt tightens the feedback loop. So if watching isn't learning, what is? It's iteration under discomfort, and that's where the cheat code begins. You don't learn fast by memorizing. You learn fast by testing faster than everyone else. It's not about being smarter, it's about being willing to look stupid sooner. The faster you test, the faster your brain builds its own internal map. Every attempt sharpens intuition, like a sculptor shaping clay. But most people stay stuck on the sidelines, polishing theory instead of practicing reality. They think preparation equals progress. It doesn't. Progress lives in motion, not in notes. Learning is less about knowledge input, more about error output. The moment you make a mistake, your brain lights up like a dashboard. It notices, adapts, repairs. That's why the fastest learners aren't perfectionists. They're testers. They break things early so they can fix them deeper. And here's the irony. Failure isn't what slows you down. Hesitation is. So if you want to learn like a cheat code, stop hoarding information. Start building scar tissue. Bro, isn't that just
practice?
Practice? Not exactly. Practice is repetition. Structured failure is experimentation. There's a difference. Practice means doing what you already know. Structured failure means designing situations where you don't know the outcome on purpose. That's how your brain grows new connections instead of replaying old ones. Think about it. A basketball player who only shoots perfect free throws learns precision, but the one who practices in chaos, fatigue, noise, pressure learns adaptability. Most people avoid chaos. Fast learners invite it. They don't fear the red X on the test. They collect it like evidence. Each mistake becomes a breadcrumb back to clarity. So no, it's not just practice. It's controlled discomfort, failure under observation. That's the cheat code. Fail fast. Record everything. Adjust deliberately. Learning fast isn't about confidence. It's about curiosity, wearing armor. Here's the wild part. Only about 1% of learners ever rewatch their own mistakes. The other 99% just move on, hoping the next YouTube tutorial or book chapter will click. Spoiler, it doesn't. Research on skill acquisition shows that most people quit right before the curve spikes. Around 80% stop practicing in what's called the flat zone, the part where you feel stuck, but your brain is secretly rewiring. It's like running a marathon and giving up 1 mile before the finish line because your watch says, no progress. That's the tragedy of slow learning, not lack of ability, but misreading the signals. Real learning speed is invisible at first. It's a quiet buildup of failed attempts until suddenly something clicks. You think it's magic. It's not. It's just the math of consistency. And the few who push through that invisible wall, they're the ones who look like naturals. But what if the secret isn't talent? Just staying curious longer than everyone else. Josh Kaufman once set out to prove that you could learn any skill in just 20 hours. Not 10,000, just 20. He learned to play the ukulele from scratch, filming every awkward attempt, every buzzed note, every wrong chord. By hour 20, he wasn't a rock star, but he could play full songs fluently. What changed? Feedback. He didn't just practice. He looped. He recorded, rewatched, corrected, repeated, tightening the gap between doing and adjusting. That short loop is the real multiplier. Tim Ferriss did the same with languages. Instead of studying grammar for months, he learned a handful of words, used them immediately, got corrected, and adjusted again. He calls it feedback density. The faster the loop, the faster the skill forms. Fast learners don't wait for perfection, they prototype knowledge. Every error is just a version update waiting to happen. This video isn't sponsored, but if it were, I'd probably sponsor Patience. Because Patience is the real productivity app nobody installs. We chase hacks, shortcuts, new tools, new courses. But Patience? That's the one upgrade that never trends. If Patience had a logo, it'd be a loading bar at 97%, pulsing quietly while everyone else rage quits. And that's the funny part. The more you slow down to see what's happening, the faster you actually move. Speed isn't about motion, it's about clarity. So yeah, if this video had a sponsor, it wouldn't be a flashy learning app. It'd just be that awkward pause between "I messed up" and "wait, what did I learn?" That's where growth hides. In the silence right after failure, before your ego rushes in to edit the tape. You're not slow. You're just avoiding visible failure. That's where speed hides, in the moments you'd rather skip because they make you look dumb. The irony is, the more you protect your ego, the slower you grow. The more you expose it, the faster you adapt. Every expert you admire has a highlight reel built on private bloopers. You only see the polished take, not the 47 awkward ones before it. But your brain needs those 47. That's how it maps the edges of what it doesn't know yet. Avoiding mistakes doesn't preserve confidence, it just delays competence. So, if you've been feeling stuck, maybe it's not a motivation issue, maybe it's an exposure issue. You don't need more talent, you need more tolerated embarrassment. Once you make peace with looking stupid, you start learning at full speed. You can't hack mastery with a two-step TikTok plan. If skill building were that easy, we'd all be polyglot CEOs with six-pack abs by now. The internet sells us speed, 5 tricks, 3 hacks, 1 secret. But real learning doesn't fit in a thumbnail. It's messy. It's non-linear. It's you sitting in silence, trying the same motion again until it feels right. Algorithms reward novelty. Your brain rewards repetition. That's why people chase new tips but never improve. They're skipping the boring loops that actually create mastery. You can't build muscle by watching form videos. You have to lift until your arms tremble. And you can't code like a pro by memorizing syntax. You have to debug until you hate your keyboard. The two-step mindset turns growth into entertainment. Real learning turns entertainment into evidence. Stop looking for shortcuts. The long way is the shortcut. Here's how to actually learn faster. No hype, no hacks, just 2 moves. First, record your attempts. Every practice, every draft, every try. Don't delete the bad takes. Watch them later, especially when you think you've improved. That's when your brain sees the delta, the invisible distance between then and now. When you see progress, you reinforce learning. When you see mistakes, you refine it. Second, teach it right away. The moment you think you get something, explain it to someone else, or just talk it out loud to your phone. Teaching locks the loop. It forces you to reorganize chaos into clarity. You don't need an audience, you just need articulation. Recording builds awareness. Teaching builds ownership. Do those 2 things, and you'll compress months of wandering into weeks of momentum. Because feedback and explanation are the only real cheat codes that exist. So maybe learning fast is cheating if your cheat code is curiosity. Because curiosity doesn't skip levels, it just keeps playing. It doesn't fear losing. It presses retry without shame. You don't need genius. You need momentum. Every time you get bored, frustrated, or embarrassed, remember, that's the sound of neurons building something new. There's no hack faster than staying interested. So record your messes, teach your progress, laugh at your attempts. And when someone asks how you learned so fast, just smile and say, I cheated, I kept showing up. If you got value from this, hit subscribe. Or better, go try something badly today. Because the fastest way to learn is still the oldest one, doing it wrong until it finally feels right.